you're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Sounds like some bad movie.
All right, we are back for another episode. Hello there, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
There we go.
Welcome back to Moviesucktastic. We're doing Oscar month, and I'm Scott. That's Joey. And this episode, we're reviewing The Substance.
The Substance, directed by Coralie Fargeat. It's Fargeat. Fargeat. I don't know. I don't speak French, but this is one of my newest favorite directors. I mean, she's only done 2 films. She's done a film called Revenge, which was excellent, and she's done this film, which I had mentioned in the last episode, could be my favorite film from 2024. I fucking loved this movie. Loved this fucking movie.
I have nothing else to add to that.
I'm happy that this film is getting the recognition that it truly deserves. It's the fact that it's nominated for Best Picture, but also nominated for Best Director. And everybody, if you've been listening to this show, I've been, telling this to Scott for forever. Since the Oscars went to 10 nominees, my theory is that if you look at the Best Director category, that's as close to if it still was only 5 nominees. Those are the films that probably would have got nominated if it was still only 5. And the fact that she got nominated for Best Director and Best Picture means that this film was realistically on the short list for if it was still 5 nominees. And that is no small feat. That is absolutely an achievement. And the fact of how this movie begins and how it ends, I fucking love it. I cannot say more good things about this film. It is everything that I thought it was going to be, to holy shit, I didn't think it was going to be that. Because when you see the trailer, you don't know how this thing fucking ends. There's just no way to tell. And I'm so happy that they hardly gave anything cool away in the trailer. But it was so, the trailer was just so good.
It was easy to go in blind.
Yes, and the trailer was just so good. It was, when you saw it, you just said, or at least I said, I would like to see this film.
Now this is one of the films that as I was watching with my wife, she turned to me at least a couple times and went, "Scott, that's a bit much." I was like, "Well, yeah, I get yelled at for that now."
I told
it is a bit much, but it's a great a bit much.
I told one of my coworkers, I said, you might have to watch this alone. I just don't know how your household is, but you'll know. Like I told him, I go, you'll know, but
my mother wants to see it and I'm encouraging it.
Are you going to watch it with your parents?
I'll watch
since they're visiting right now.
Yeah. If they want to, but either way, whether with or without me, I was like, yeah, you should watch it. Definitely. I want to hear her response.
I think I'm going to get the 4K version of this because you could see even more nudity.
Oh my!
What?
Well, tell you what. Let's dive down a little bit. So, give me some specifics of what you like about the movie.
What I really like, I like this director's style. First of all, if I really had to break it down, I like this director's style. I like how she can transition a scene into another and it can be done quickly or slowly, and you get to the intended reaction either way. And I know that might sound, I just don't want to give anything away when I describe certain things about this film, but just the way the director does it. I mean, you can tell, like, even if you watch the film Revenge, you can tell that when she focuses on certain men, she focuses on them in a certain way, like they are, pigs is not the right word, but like there's a
No,
scene,
yeah, it is.
there's a scene with Dennis Quaid where he's eating like an absolute fucking slob, like a caveman, but
Yeah.
he's in charge of this, this big, he's like this mogul, this, I think I don't know if he's the CEO, but he's a big wig, and
Producer.
he's in charge of the entertainment for Demi Moore's character and whatnot, and he's just shoveling down food, and the way she zooms in and slows down and heightens the audio, it just, you get the intended reaction without having to go really deep into explaining things. It's like, okay, I get it.
There's a contrast there, yeah, and like I'll bring up Revenge again. If you compare the two films, the style, where you have this woman on the run against the Australian landscape, and so it
Right.
dwarfs her in a lot of those sequences, and there's a claustrophobia that's used as well.
Yeah.
And it's in the substance that's really used to play, because even though we're in this we're in this world where everything is hyper textualized, so the beauty is like in your face beauty, but we also zoom in on the nasty stuff too, the ugly stuff, and it's accentuated almost like it's a delusion. But also
it almost feels like a fever dream at some points, and I think that's the intended reaction because of how this substance works. The whole thing is it says you will make a better version of yourself, and
it's obviously not meant to be taken as the real world. This is a world inside the film. We can take it as it's given to us. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, correct. And it's like and again, I'll go back to Revenge. Like, one of her directing styles in that film, it's very similar to what she did in this. I mean, there's scenes where she focuses in on the mouth of the men in Revenge, just the similar way she did with Dennis Quaid in The Substance, because what she can achieve with that is showing that, this is not a good person. This person lies when they talk, and they are gross. Like, you're not gross, they're gross. Things like that. But also in Revenge, it's partially a foreign film. They speak French a lot in that movie too. They speak English and French in there, and I thought that was a really good texture to add to that. Because the friends, all of his friends, because in that film, it's a kind of like a guy's weekend, and they all speak French because they're all French, but the girl isn't. It's almost like when they talk and she doesn't really understand. It's she's like a foreigner. She doesn't really understand. She's the foreigner, not them. So it's like little things like that this director does that really, like, it just excites me. I can't wait for the next fucking thing she's gonna make.
I'm sure you'll agree with me that The Substance, the camera work has a very Kubrick feel to it.
Yes.
Even a little De Palma. Even I tell you, every time there was a scene in that curved hallway in the apartment, I kept flashing back to Phantom of the Paradise.
Oh,
am I the only one?
Yeah. No, actually, I didn't even think of that till now. But you're right. I mean, and one of the things that they talked to her about, because in the end, this is what is considered a body horror film. Because of her taking this
level body horror.
Well, and that was brought up. So she takes this drug, and this better version of herself, and the Hollywood kind of living up to that kind of beauty. It's just, you can't do it kind of deal.
Well,
but
not even Hollywood, but like a patriarchal society.
True. Yeah, you just can't live up to that, and she portrays that really well in this. But when they talk to her about this film, and they asked her what her inspirations were, and she immediately went to Cronenberg and immediately talked about The Fly. And that right there, just when I read that, I was just like, this is someone that knows. And what I found amazing and what I found sad all at the same time is Cronenberg, in his earlier work anyway, does not get the credit he deserves either. Because a film like The Fly is an absolute fucking masterpiece. It's one of the best horror films, sci-fi, whatever you want to call it, dramas, in its category. And a film like this gets nominated for Best Picture. To me, it shows that we've come a long way as far as what people deem a Best Picture, meaning 10 years ago, 15 years ago, this movie doesn't get nominated. This movie gets buried. You still see it, you still enjoy it, you still think it's a great film, but there's no way in hell a film like this gets nominated 10, 15, 20 years ago. And it certainly doesn't get nominated when a film like this would come out in the 80s, such as The Fly, even though a film like The Fly could be nominated for Best Picture because it is that well made, it is that well written, and it is that well acted. So I think this is a huge achievement, not only for her as a strong female director, but for just cinema. Because what this does is it opens up more movies that can be portrayed like this, maybe not exactly like this, but films that maybe won't get overlooked because of its content, because what it gets to achieve is, just a masterful performance in all categories.
And a choice like this makes you think, okay, maybe there are some adults at the head of the table. Maybe we're not just maybe somebody's actually paying attention. I also wanted to mention, like, again, we're talking about that camera work, like De Palma or Kubrick. She does a great job of, even though she like is a free person and goes out into the open and stuff. Everything is claustrophobic around Demi Moore.
Especially when she goes to pick up the actual substance. Like, just getting in there it's like the door opens up maybe 3 feet off the ground. That's it. And then when she's walking through the corridor to get to it through garbage, even when she's walking down the street, she's got her coat on, like she's encapsulating herself, like protecting herself. That's how fearful she is of the world, because that's actually an amazing point that you just made, because when the better version of herself emerges, she does the exact same thing until she gets to that interview where she applies for the job that basically Demi Moore's character was, let go from. And then once she gets that job, that character is completely free. She is not claustrophobic. She is not, kind of sheltering herself from the world, like what you just so perfectly explained as Demi Moore is doing. So it really shows the two different sides of this better version, this essentially same person.
Even the apartment, even though it's a spacious apartment, it still has this claustrophobic feel. And like, even though you've got this vista in front of her through this, floor to ceiling window, she's still trapped by the billboard out front, constantly reminding her.
Yeah.
So I mean, and as the film progresses, she moves from, like, her scenes are like in the, we move from the living room to the bathroom when we start doing the substance. Then from that we move to the kitchen for some scenes, and everything's more claustrophobic and hunched in. Well, everything, she feels like the world's closing in around her because she has no value anymore.
But even so, later on in the film, the better version of herself creates an area to in the bathroom, like a special entrance or
a
hideaway. I mean, that even right there even further pushes the claustrophobia, because it has to be, I'm not giving anything away. One version of herself has to be around for 1 week, and the other one has to sleep, and then they reverse. They go back and forth, week. So the Demi Moore character is put in this closet, in this bathroom or this hideaway, while the other version of herself is doing all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's pretty interesting take on that.
Even though it's claustrophobic at that point, I want to point out that room that she puts her in, we never see walls or a ceiling. It's only the floor, so it almost feels like a vast emptiness. It's like almost the opposite of claustrophobia. She's in a state of non-existence at that point. That's what
it's black except for the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact of it's almost like limbo or death. So this film does so much, says so much, but still manages to be entertaining. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes long, but I keep telling everyone I recommend this film to, I say it's a tight 220. You're not going to notice 2 hours and 20 minutes.
You don't. It moves so well from scene to scene that I remember.
I honestly will say the last 20 minutes, you're not going to be wary of time. You're just going to be glued to that screen.
Absolutely. I remember when we watched this. We had to pause it. Someone had a bathroom break because I watched this with a couple of people, not just myself and Mare. It was with a couple of other people, and we had to pause for a bathroom break. And when I paused it, there was still, I think at that point, something like 50 minutes left. And in the back of my head, I was like, that's it? There's only 50 minutes. Like, I was disappointed that I didn't have more time with the film. That's how much I fucking loved it. And that's how well it moves. So the fact that this film was not nominated for editing is an absolute fucking crime. I know it's another technical, but actually, let's see. It's nominated for 5 Oscars as well.
Correct.
And it's nominated for makeup and hairstyling. Actually, that is the only technical, because it's makeup and hairstyling, but it's also nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress in a Leading Role, Demi Moore, which I think she's going to win this, and Best Original Screenplay. So, I mean, what it's up against in those categories, we could talk about that super quick. Let me see. Here we go. Makeup and hairstyling. It's up against A Different Man. Oh, that might actually win that. That is some serious makeup in that film.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away from the makeup that's done in this. It's equally as stark. Emilia Perez, no. Nosferatu, maybe. The Substance, and Wicked. So I think its real competition is A Different Man, maybe Nosferatu. I would give it to this, though. I would give it to this just because I think it deserves it. Let's see. Best Director. Here we go. You have Sean Baker for Nora, Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, James Mangold for A Complete Unknown, and Jacques Audiard for Emilia Perez. Well, I still think The Brutalist is winning Best Picture, so it'll probably go to the director too, just because of everything that it's done as far as see it on the biggest screen you can, all that stuff. Although I think this film looks amazing on a big screen as well. It really does.
You know what? That whole epic thing sold Oppenheimer. Yeah. I don't know if it's selling this.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't think I'm going to do well in my I don't think I'm going to do well in my ballot this year. I really don't, because I can't get a lay of the land for what I think. Because normally what I do is I pick like how I think they're going to pick, and then I usually get them all right, or most. I can't gauge this year. I just can't. I can't. Best Actress. Here, let's go with this. You have Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. You have Carla Sofia Gascon for Amelia Perez, Mikey Madison for Honora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. I think her biggest competition is probably Mikey Madison from Honora. I keep hearing how she's the front runner, but then I also hear that Demi Moore is the front runner. I don't think anybody else. I think it's between those two.
Okay.
And then original screenplay as the last thing. Here we go. Original screenplay is Honora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, and September 5.
I've seen A Real Pain. I actually watched that yesterday.
What'd you think?
Goddamn words have lost my mind. It was a graceful hour and a half. It was well written. I can see why it was nominated, but I don't think it's going to win. I would choose The Substance over it just because of the complexity of the movie. But it's worth a watch, but it's not for everybody. It's a My Dinner with Andre type experience, I would say.
That is a pretentious piece of film.
I like that movie.
My Dinner with Andre?
Yeah.
I don't hate the film, but I can't watch it and not feel like it's just a pretentious ... I just can't.
All I'm trying to get, even though it's like a quote unquote road movie, it's the whole film is basically people talking to each other. So that's all I'm kind of pointing out.
Well, I'm just pointing out that, even though I like My Dinner with Andre, I can't watch that and be like, let's hear me tell stories for, an hour and a half and see how cool I am. Like, that's the only thing I think of when I watch that movie.
I don't know. About
no,
that.
Well,
that's Hollywood. That's Hollywood as a whole. What do you think they're all doing?
So anyway, for original screenplay, I think it's between The Brutalist and The Substance, and I want to say they know they're not giving this film Best Picture. And I just get the feeling that they're going to give it to her for screenplay because they want to give her something. They want to recognize her somehow. Because they're not going to do it with director. They're going to give it to Brady Corbet. That's my guess. They're going to give it to her for screenplay. Just like the way they did Quentin Tarantino for Pulp Fiction. Even though that film did deserve to win Best Picture, they gave it to him because they know how good that movie is and how well written it is. I think the same goes for The Substance.
I have to wait until I've seen the other films before I weigh in.
Same, but if I had to guess.
But right now, between this and A Real Pain, I would choose this. But I'm biased because I love this film. What do you want to rate it?
So here's the thing. It's currently a 7.3 on IMDb. And I know why. I know why. It's because there's too many people out there going, oh, I don't think I like that.
You don't have to talk me into a 10. I'll
no. I'm calling a 10 on this. We don't do that very often, but I think if there's any film that we've ever reviewed that deserves it, this is one of them.
But my only argument for a 10 is I have to like be able to swear on that it's flawless, like that there's nothing I would change, that there's nothing that no flaws whatsoever. It's got to be a perfect gem, and this is one of them. This is like Nightcrawler.
Yes.
Perfect, a gem. Nothing. This film does 100% what it sets out to do with with an economy and an efficiency that is worthy of a 10. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. 10. If you gave me a hard time about a 9, I probably would have, compromised and bent that way, but I was always going 10 on this, in my heart. So I'm glad that you agree. I'm glad you agree. Yeah, no, this movie's that fucking good. And the thing is, it's like, I have to know who I'm recommending it to before I recommend it to them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But everyone that I've talked to that have seen it, I was like, oh, did you see The Substance? And they're like, yeah. How awesome was it? Oh my God, it was amazing. Like, everyone that I've ever talked to about this film has talked about how fucking good it is. So
yeah, Haven't heard anything negative yet. Just like how I haven't heard anything positive about Amelia Perez yet.
You know, I want to look at this curve. I mean, mostly it's gotten 60,000 reviews or ratings are an 8, 22,000 or 50,000 are a 7, 31,000 9s, 23,000 10s. Now, as far as the other ones that bring it down, 24,000 6s, 12,000 5s.
You're just rattling off numbers, Joe.
I know, it's gotten everything from a 1 to a 10, but there's 7,500 ones, which clearly somebody went into this movie thinking it was a different movie.
Well, the trailer makes that possible, and I think that's one of the risks you run, allowing audiences to go in blind,
right?
Because then you run the risk of getting the wrong audience. So that's the risk you take with that kind of advertising.
But I'm
not saying it's a bad thing. I'm for it. I love blind.
But what they were able to do with the trailer that was smart was to put up some raves talking. It's like, this movie is, and then F asterisk asterisk asterisk, basically saying this movie is fucking insane. Like they were able to put raves like that.
They warned you.
Exactly. It's like, listen, we're showing you this trailer this way because we can't show you the good stuff because it's going to ruin it. So yeah, it's fucking great. You
know what those 1-star reviews are? Those are a lot of awkward first dates.
It's like taking someone to 7 on a first date.
Yeah, who'd do that?
I don't know, but that person, they screwed up. Yeah, they didn't think that one through.
Yeah, but yeah, if by some weird reason, yeah, I mean, honestly, I recommend this to everybody. I give caveats out, but I've recommended this to everybody.
Yeah,
and I'm going to make my poor mother watch it. Yes.
Good for you, man. If this movie wins Best Picture, I might actually shit myself. It's because the possibility of it is so low, but it is statistically possible because it is nominated.
It would renew my faith in anything if that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if she wins Best Director, that would be incredible. I'm telling you, Hollywood. I'm sure it's already happened. They are like, what do you want to make next? We want you to make us a movie. Where she made her first film and she made this, and now Hollywood is calling. All the big major studios. She's probably gotten 50 or 100 scripts, but she writes and directs her own stuff. So I don't know if she'll do that for her next, or if she'll take a really well-made script and make that. Who knows? But all I know is I'm fucking interested as hell what the next thing she's going to make, because clearly, based on her first 2 films, she's going to make something we're going to like. So,
oh yeah,
that's I can't wait, cannot wait. Like if I was on the red carpet, and on Oscar night, be like, I need to know what your next movie is.
Sir, what are you doing on the red carpet?
I said if. That is one of the questions that I would ask. What are you doing next? Everybody needs to know. But that's me. All right.
And why are you pulling, and why are you manhandling me? I am not under arrest.
Take your goddamn hands off me. All right. Are we ready to end this?
I think so.
All right. Let's go ahead and end it. As always, thank you again for joining us. Episode 433 of Moviesucktastic. Go to our website at moviesucktastic.com and download, listen, and watch this episode from our website. Click on the YouTube link, takes you right there. You can watch this episode. You can download or you can listen to it right from the website. Which also, by the way, I know I don't mention this every week. The website is it's mobile enabled. Thank you. It's mobile enabled. You can listen to it right on your phone or tablet. It's so much fun. Anyway, you can go to facebook.com/moviesucktastic and you can see everything that we post there as well. If you want to leave us voicemail, it's 908-514-4470. If you want to leave us email, it's themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. If you want to download our podcast app, that's moviesucktastic.com/mst.apk, or download your favorite podcast player for any device that you have and just do a search for Moviesucktastic. Every single episode is there. We do not charge for them. It's 100% free. Do you have any words of wisdom, Mr. Wilson?
Remember, you are one.
You are one. Yes. That's part of the problem. Most people don't remember that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Most people don't remember that. And then you get a movie like The Substance. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week when we review 2 more Oscar movies. Who knows what they'll be, but it'll be 2 more next week.
And it's going to hurt.
It's probably going to hurt. I think we reviewed the 2 best ones.
Yeah, that's it. It's all downhill from here, folks.
Yeah, I think it is all down here. What's left? I mean...
Amelia Perez,
Honora, Nickel Boys, I'm Still Here, Conclave. Yeah, no, we blew our wad. It's done. What are you gonna do? It happens.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week for 2 more of these.
2 more. I don't know. Maybe we'll be surprised, but I doubt it. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Later.